Hi, my name is Sofia Relosa, owner of SVR Infinity and SofiaRelosa.com. Thank you for watching my video today. And today, as promised, I am going to discuss the basic Feng Shui for the main door. Okay, so before I go into the forms and the things that you can actually do for 2020, I have to explain to you first the importance of the main door. The main door is like the mouth of the home, and this is where the key flow comes in that is spread out to the entire household. So if your main door has the wrong forms or at the wrong sector, this actually affects the entire household. Okay, so which is why if you're actually putting up a house, buying a house, or looking for a house, or building a house, the first thing that you have to pay attention to in terms of Feng Shui is to actually look at the main doors, that it actually follows the right form. Okay, so what are the forms that we are looking at, or the things that we actually have to watch out for? The first one is to make sure that the main door doesn't have a pillar or a pole in front of it. Okay, this is actually the piercing heart shot, and the effect of this is to actually, it's going to affect the health and the wealth of the residents in the long run. So if there is a pole or a pillar in front of your home, what you can do to mitigate, but mitigating it doesn't actually reduce much, but it does reduce. Rather, it does mitigate. Well, again, it mitigates the issue. Is to actually put the screen between the pillar and the or the pole. Okay, just to mitigate the issue. But if you have an option to actually use another main door, it's best that you actually use the other main door and keep this closed as possible. Okay, the next one is to if your main door is facing a tree, especially if a tree that actually has a branch or is divided into two, they call it the breakup tree. It causes actually, well, before the reason why this is an issue, it actually causes breakup within the family. And it also was found as a form that actually affects the wealth of the residents. And I guess this is the reason why there's breakup, because of too much issues when it comes to health. And then next is to actually consider if the light or the main door is being shadowed by plants or trees, or it doesn't actually have this bright or accept this bright light from considering a bright hall rather. If the main door doesn't have a bright hall or is shadowed by plants, this affects the mental health of the residents and also affects the wealth. So if you have an opportunity or you're allowed to even cut down the trees in front of your door, I actually strongly recommend to actually do so, just to avoid the long-term issues or effects that they can actually manifest through this form. Next is to actually check if upon looking in your main door, if there is a statue facing it. Like say for instance, when you're standing in the main door and then you look inside your home, the first thing that you see is the corner, a statue or an edge. Regardless of whether or not your main door is at the right position, it doesn't matter, because the statue already blocks the key flow from coming in the home. So it no longer spreads out to the kitchen, to the bedroom, and so on and so forth, because that statue again stops the positive or auspicious key flow from flowing inside your home. So make sure that when you actually see from looking inside, when you're standing in your main door and looking inside, make sure that there is no corners or any edges, just to avoid the issues in the blockage of the positive key flow. So another form that you actually have to look out for is upon looking out, you see a sharp roof. That's a fire shot. It actually affects the wealth again and the career of, wealth and the career of the household, or the resident rather, in that household. So if there is, what you can do is to actually put a barrier just to avoid the statue from covering you from your main door, meaning putting a tree or a screen, just so the statue or the pointed roof is not directly seen through your main door. Another same example is actually looking at, when you look out, you see an edge or a corner of a roof from your neighbor and so on and so forth. That is also the same. It's best to actually cover it with either a tree, a screen, just to bounce off the or just to mitigate the ill effect of this kind of form. Again, it just mitigates, it doesn't cure, it just mitigates, it just reduces the effect. So, but if you have an opportunity to use another door, it's best to use another door. Okay, so next, this is the common form that I see here in the Philippines is if the main door is facing a T-junction. I actually have a neighbor that has that kind of form, and the problem with this, it's too much sachi. It's the sachi is flowing in the speed, in a fast motion, basically, when you have this kind of form, and the effect is illness and mental disturbance or accidents. Okay, so what can you do if you actually have this household or this kind of form in your main door is to actually control it by placing or building a tree in front of it, or use a different main door. There are other forms actually. There's so many forms when it comes to the main door, because main door is very, very important. Again, it's the mouth of the home. If this doesn't have the right form, even if it's in the right sector, everything is useless. Okay, so make sure that your main door follows the right form. For when it comes to 2020, these are just basic, okay, just to give you an idea what the forms that we are trying to look for is making sure that there is no obstructions for the key to come in the home. But these are just basic. But in addition to that, what I want to actually enunciate is that if you have these kinds of forms and then the flying star or the negative flying star is landing in your main door, the ill effect of the entire or the misfortune effect of the negative flying star will be magnified. Which is why it's very important to actually have the right forms in your main door, so that when the negative flying stars lands in, it wouldn't affect, wouldn't have this much blow, or the misfortune would be decreased, or there's none at all. If you have the right environment in your home, the ill effects of the misfortune is not going to happen, basically. Okay, so in terms of 2020, what are the things that you have to remember? Again, if your main door has these forms and then your main door is at the east, which is going to be the flying star 5, I am strongly urging, and I'm going to insist that you use a different main door. But if you cannot, again, you place metal objects, big metal objects, especially if your home is big and pure metal. It doesn't have to have anything. You can buy it from surplus or second or antique stores or whatever and whatnot. You don't have to buy anything that's branded. For as long as it's pure metal, that's all that matters. Okay, so for north, if say for instance your main door is at the north sector of the home, this actually causes lawsuits. If you have the wrong forms outside your home, the number 3 is going to be in the north, and it is going to cause lawsuits, argument, issues with relationships. Okay, so if you have the wrong forms in your main door and your main door is in the north, by next year I actually recommend to actually move or use a different main door temporarily, just not to aggravate the ill effects of the flying star 3. Okay, so there again, for in terms of the trade secret, okay, the first thing that you have to remember is that make sure that the main door is following the right form. So even if your door is at the right sector using the flying star or the Chuan Kong flying star or the 8 mansions, even if they're there, if the forms are not correct, it doesn't matter. Even if it doesn't matter. The positive effect of the positive sectors will not be felt because you are following you do not have the right forms. Am I making sense? Okay, so I'm sorry I actually did it over in this car. It's just I'm on the go, and I always want to make sure that I fulfill my promise. So thank you for watching. But before you go, please note that I actually created an ebook for this. Please download. The link will be included in the caption box. Please download it just to give you a summary of the things that we have discussed. or the things that I might have missed, and I'll be able to explain it in the ebook. Please click the link and download, and it's free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!